Is Erling Haaland possibly England's worst nightmare right now? He absolutely is. Yet, the London media is desperately painting a completely different picture, wanting you to believe the billion-pound joggers are cruising to reclaim the crown after their historic victory at the fiery Estadio Azteca. The defensive pragmatism of the Prussian tactician is hailed as the masterclass of a future champion. But in reality, that gritty 1-0 victory against Mexico was nothing but a massive illusion. How can you praise a masterclass when the Three Lions had only 33% possession and half as many shots as their opponent? To escape with that ticket, they paid a devastating price. Key defender Erling Quansah received a straight red card and is suspended. Declan Rice and his teammates were so exhausted, they had to use oxygen masks in the dressing room at halftime. They drained their very last drops of energy under the extreme altitude of Azteca. And right after escaping that cauldron, the billion-pound joggers are marching straight into a deadly Norwegian trap.
They're thirsty! Well, let's give them something to drink!
The team ranked 31st in the world before the tournament has just written the most shocking fairy tale in Nordic football history. A miracle so crazy that even the Norwegian Football Federation did not believe in their own squad, only packing enough brown cheese and custom salmon supplies to last through the group stage and one knockout match. But in reality, this is no fluke. In the qualifiers, Norway completely embarrassed the Italians, and Norwegian football has been rising rapidly, led by Bodo Glimt dominating in European competitions. And now, this undersupplied dark horse has sent the mighty Brazil home with a shocking 2-1 victory at MetLife. And leading this destruction machine is the walking prodigy Erling Haaland. 7 goals in this tournament, but from only 100 touches, the machine from another dimension is waiting to punish England's exhaustion. But wait, doesn't Tuchel have a defensive fortress to stop him? Tuchel is proud of his defensive stability, but this shield is a complete mirage. The win against Mexico, not a tactical masterclass. It was saved by Bellingham's first half goal, and Bellingham's desperate second half clearance off the line. The isolated superstar carried the entire burden alone. Plus, England's backline is completely disjointed. Constant changes before the tournament. And they have never faced a striker like Haaland. With Quansah suspended, this broken defense is ready to shatter. Tuchel's pragmatism is choking all creative freedom. No Foden, no Palmer. This English attack is completely toothless. We saw them struggle against Croatia's low block. Not a single clear chance created, while Bellingham is isolated. What is Harry Kane doing? Enjoying a leisurely sunset stroll in the center circle. The tactical deadweight drops deep. He clogs Bellingham's space. He leaves the box completely empty. Kane ran himself so ragged he lost his voice. He could barely speak in his interview.
We had to find something, yeah, I've just been sitting there, I can't really talk, but...
Quansah's red card forced England to play with 10 men. Rice and Mainu had to sweep for this walking attack. The physical workload was insane. Azteca sits at over 2,200 meters. Under that thin air, they ran over 12 kilometers per game. This English midfield is completely drained. They are ready to collapse under Norway's pressure, while England's middle is running on empty. Norway features a high-pressing machine. Their midfield runs on automatic chemistry, built by Bodo Glimt connection like Patrick Berg. So how will Solbakken's underdogs execute this broken, exhausted system? The tactical board will show you the exact crime scene. Let's step up to this board. You will see the critical fractures exposed by the Athletic for Norway to rip apart Tuchel's system. The first vulnerability is England's aggressive but toothless high press. Tuchel wants his front line to press high, but once they fail to put enough pressure on the opponent's passer, England's high defensive line leaves a fatal space behind. Declan Rice is forced to shift wide to help the exhausted O'Reilly on the left flank, leaving the center wide open. With zero pressure from the midfield, now the playmaker Martin Odegaard will have all the time and space to launch a pinpoint long pass behind the English defense. For Haaland to chase, Second defect is the constant switch of play from flank to pull the defense apart. Both Mexico and DR Congo successfully used this overload to exploit England's back post. When England's wingers like Gordon or Rashford refuse to track back, Dortmund's right back Julian Ryerson overlaps freely to link up with Oscar Bobb. Nico O'Reilly is left in a helpless 2 versus 1 chokehold against the Man City and Dortmund duo. Once Stones or Guehi is forced to drift wide to cover, the center is completely stretched open for Haaland to occupy, and when the cross is delivered, Haaland will deploy his signature double movement. He will bait the defender to run one way, then suddenly cut back in the opposite direction to accelerate and head the ball at the near post. Brazil and Gabriel Magalhaes already suffered from this trick, and Stones or Guehi will be no exception. This brings England's defenders into a nightmare dilemma, to stay shirt tight or to hand him over. If Stones or Guehi follows Gary Neville's advice and marks Haaland shirt tight, Haaland's tactical walking will drag them high up the pitch, completely wrecking England's defensive structure and leaving a massive space behind. But if they choose to drop back to protect their line and hand Haaland over to Elliot Anderson, a fatal handover defect occurs. Anderson reacts too slowly, allowing Haaland to freely receive and turn in the pocket of space. But the real nightmare begins the moment Stones is forced to challenge him head on. This is not a lucky shot, but a cold, calculated trap. Haaland baits Stones to lunge in a panic. He takes his first touch on his right foot and a second on his left to set himself up. The moment Stones takes a big step and opens his legs to block, Haaland instantly fires a nutmeg shot through them. Wayne Rooney revealed that this is a signature trick taught to Haaland by Ole Gunnar Solskjær back at Molde. An absolute cage from which England's defense has no escape. But even if Tuchel knows all of these traps beforehand, why is he completely powerless to stop them? The answer lies in a desperate tactical decision he is forced to make in the second half, with 2 of England's most creative superstars sitting at home. Watching the World Cup on their couches, the locker room has officially become a ticking time bomb. Tuchel's dictatorial style was on full display when he locked the squad down in Kansas City just to escape the London media. And when right back Tino Graham took out injured right before the tournament, did he call up Trent Alexander-Arnold? No. He called up Chelsea's Trevoh Chalobah, instead completely blanking the Real Madrid star. The London media is in a frenzy calling the German manager an outside saboteur. The squad is split right down the middle, those who obey Tuchel's law and those who are secretly rebelling. And here comes the ultimate media hypocrisy, scapegoat detected. To protect the massive commercial value of stars like Bellingham or Kane, the press needs a managed sacrificial lamb, and they've chosen Kobbie Mainoo, Nico O'Reilly, and Jordan Henderson. They are getting absolutely slaughtered in the papers for a lack of elite creativity and being too old, when in reality, these are the players running 11 to 12 kilometers a game to sweep up the mess, while the big-name stars are enjoying a leisurely stroll on the pitch. Make no mistake about it, this is an unfair systemic compromise. Just look at Nico O'Reilly, a promising young talent stepping out of the Manchester City Academy, whose biggest dream was to wear the 3